May 14th, 2024 Historic District Commission meeting in Kingston, New Hampshire. I'm Susan Prescott, Chair.
Virginia Morris, Vice Chair.
Everyone's pushing their buttons when they speak? No?
Madeline Willette, member.
Lori Swed, Select Board member.
Susan Dehart, alternate member.
Excellent. Thank you for being here this evening. We are going to start right off with critical correspondence, of which I have none. I have been back and forth to, oh, hi, Rob is here now too. That's okay. I was late too. I have been in touch with and had a meeting with Pedro Avila this past week on a couple of different issues that have come up. I don't know if that's correspondence, but I'll report anyway. There was a roof replacement on Farm Road in Kingston. It was straight up repair, so they're replacing in kind, same color shingles, same type. So I told Pedro that does not need to come in for review, and I explained to him that we would, if it was different material, say they were wanting to put on a metal roof or change up the any sort of the architectural details, then they would need to come in for a review. But this is straight up roof repair, so they are all set. There is Maureen Levesque has an old shed that her contractor is going to repair in kind as well. So I told him, and I reached out to Maureen to at least give me something by email that says we are going to do this in kind. And I have not heard back from her yet, so I have to follow up on that.
What's that address?
It's right up the street, the fence with the shed behind it, and then there's a little shed behind that.
Okay.
It's between here and your house.
I don't know, we're 188, maybe.
Okay, right next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is right next to Sanborn, this side.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe 170.
Okay. Yeah. So I will follow up with them just to make sure that I have it in writing. So that is just about all I have. Okay. So did everyone get the minutes that I sent out for April 7th? Yeah. Okay. Does anyone have any corrections? I thought that Sarah did a good job. By the way, Sarah's at a meeting tonight. She's graduating high school soon, so she's at a meeting. So we have to actually, we'll talk about that later, but we need to talk about
Congratulations, Sarah.
So Sarah's, yes, because Sarah's going to be taking the minutes from the YouTube video tonight. So, all right. I didn't have any corrections or any changes to make to the minutes. Did anyone else? No. Can we have a motion to?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, by Madeline, seconded by Lori. All in favor of approving the minutes as written?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? No? Okay. Sorry, I'm writing myself a note. Town board updates, starting with the select board. Lori, do you have an update?
Let me think about it.
Okay, do you want me to skip you?
Yeah.
And then come back to you? All
I reserve the right to come back to me.
Then we'll go to the planning board and ask Rob if there are any updates concerning the HDC. Okay, none from planning board. I was not at the last Heritage Commission meeting, and to be honest, I haven't even read the minutes of that meeting, so I have nothing to report from Heritage Commission.
But I read the minutes because they sent
Did
them
you?
to me.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Do you have an update?
Yes.
Good.
So,
Thank you, Virginia.
They're continuing. I think the biggest event right now is that, well, one is that they're going to see, oh, thank you. The which house that is in jeopardy of demise they will do next. So they have done a wonderful job taking pictures, Bob Bean and
Walt Roy.
Walt.
Yeah.
And so they're going to choose another house. And I might be involved in that because of knowing one of the properties. But the really exciting event is that not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, we're finally going to have our training to clean the gravestones and get going on planning for the next year's event for that. And hopefully, we got snowed or rained or bad weathered out last fall, but I think there are quite a few of us that are going to participate in that. And so I
That's
think
25th of May, right? I'm pretty sure it's that Saturday.
whatever that Saturday is, not this Saturday, but the next one, 10 o'clock. So that's really good.
And it's at the cemetery? Yes. Okay,
Yes.
nice. Okay, I'm gonna go to.
Ernie sent out a list of supplies to bring if you have them. So if you
Yes.
didn't get that email, I would ask for him to resend that. They
Yes,
said they will have stuff, but it's usually better to have your own tools.
Yes.
Because they'll be breaking up into groups and you don't want to have to wait for somebody to finish with their scraper or whatever.
Right.
Excellent. Thanks, Virginia, for doing that. We're gonna move right on.
I can go back
Oh,
now, I
oh,
remember.
sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry, I had to look back through my notes because I was late at the select board meeting last night. So on this, not last night, the last week, Ernie gave a presentation on the certified local government aspect of, from the Heritage Commission. And what the select board has agreed to on the first Monday meeting of the month is to allow boards and committees to do a 10-minute presentation if they'd like, to let the town know what they do, because I think a lot of the town doesn't understand what all the committees and the boards are for. And you just have to sign up with Susan if you want to do that. Pick a month and you can do a 10-minute presentation on, you know, the topic of your choice that has to do with your committee. And it's a good time to, you know, solicit volunteers if you have an effort going on as well. So just get with Susan if you want to sign up for that. Yes. And I believe that's it.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes? Oh. Actually, there's like mist coming down there, so there's something happening over there that's pretty distracting too, so. It's blowing down the fabric. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Thank you, Lori.
Yes,
Yes,
much better.
much quieter.
Lori, is there an update about the carriage barn and the L and all?
So Jeb started on the 1st, and he's hoping to finish the end of the month. If not, then the museum is making, I think with Dan's help, arranging for that, what are we calling it? That's it, the storage container for another month into June. Because even if it is done on the 31st of May, they're not going to be able to get everything out in time, right? So the L is not being detached from the barn.
Okay.
That was a big topic of discussion. Because it's not being detached, we're calling it an 80% solution, because there was damage because the L was attached. And Jeb is not touching the exterior of that wall. He's doing all of the repair work from the inside. He's able to lift each corner and replace the sills and the posts and all of that. The door going from the barn into the L is staying intact.
Okay.
He's just gonna put another header in to secure that since it was cut. So once he's nearing completion, he's gonna get with Director Coombs and let him know what else we could do to mitigate the ongoing water problem, because those buildings are attached, right? And at that point, we'll be asking for the same people who rose their hand earlier, that they would volunteer to hopefully, you know, fix what we can. And then after that's done, Public Works has to do a French drain around it so we can really kind of work on the water runoff. So it's going according to plan, you know, he's just in there chipping away, doing his thing.
Has there been a decision on the color of the roof?
I thought that was already decided.
I think that in the notes,
We were not,
in the notes that Jeff Flanders sent to me, it said that the Director of Public Works agreed with the HDC that to choose like a gray or a black or a charcoal, not the
So-
bright green. It
so
is in the
dark.
minutes.
Okay.
So that hopefully is still,
I'm meeting with him tomorrow, so I'll
Okay.
verify that.
yeah, we were just opposed to the idea of a bright roof color, say
Sure.
a green.
Yeah. And it
So-
was in what minutes? What meeting was that
It was when we
discussing?
had the joint meeting when Phil and, when Phil Coombs and Ernie came to the HDC, was it not in that,
Oh, so that
we
was a
were-
while ago.
It was a while ago.
Okay.
I can try to forward you the minutes of that from Jeff.
Oh, I can find it, it's fine.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so not green or red.
excellent.
Yeah, something kind of subtle.
Right. Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
I will verify that with him tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Sure.
If anything changes, can you shoot
Yep.
me a note?
Will do.
Okay, thanks. So, now, our first application on the agenda tonight is Lori and Dan Swed, 157 Main Street. They are wanting to put additional solar panels on their house. And I have 3 copies, so we're gonna have to share. Right?
I photocopied the initial application that we had submitted and was approved, so it's just the different roof, clearly, of what we're doing this time.
Okay.
I used to do that all the time.
Yes,
House 1 facing the street and house 4 all the way in the back.
Is this Glen
that's what it'll be on, right, yeah, 'cause there's four
Yes.
roofs. So 1 and 2, we're skipping 3, and roof 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing. And it's a pretty flat roof, so you can't really even, you have to be in the middle of the planes to see the top of the roof.
Right.
Oh, microphones.
So I was just saying, Susan, we're looking at the side view of your house, panels on the main roof.
So there are panels on house
2.
1.
House
1
1
and
And
2.
2 already.
and on number 2.
Okay.
Not 3.
We're
but
skipping 3, right.
Skipping 3,
Okay, and
but
that's the flat
4, which is very flat. And looks quite small.
How many panels?
Oh, no, it's a big roof. It's the same size as the first 2 combined, almost. Yeah, but it's so flat you can't see it. And it's, yeah. I'm surprised you need more. You would need what?
It's 42, well, we use the whole house.
We converted the whole house off the other forms of fuel, and it's all electric, knowing we were going solar. We wanted to get off coal and oil, and we have propane as a backup for one part of the house, but we wanted to get as much onto electric as we can, which is not efficient.
Right.
So the solar panels make up for that.
Nice.
Well, it's actually none of my business, but
Yeah.
what is the use of house 4?
So the bottom part is his office. We call it the great room because it's all sliding glass doors. So there's an extra bedroom down there. There's a fireplace with chairs, so kind of a man cave, his office. And then upstairs is, because it's an L shape because the garage is there, upstairs is all bedrooms and bathroom
And the garage itself is in house 4. It's just one corner of it.
And why isn't house 3 getting any panels?
It's shaded by house 1 and 2. It's a little lower, so it barely gets any anyway. And the roof on that it's pretty slumped, and I'm not sure what its condition is. It's stable, but I didn't want to add any weight, and then it doesn't get enough sun anyway.
That makes sense.
I believe it's 40, it might be 38,
With both houses?
22,
So I
20,
assume they're gonna be the same.
yeah, I think it's 40 total,
Black,
yeah.
Flush with the roof, yeah.
38?
And that's
Oh, I see.
20,000 watts.
Realize the garage out there. It's really very well hidden from me.
It
Yeah,
really
you're right,
is,
though.
yeah, I didn't realize
I think I'm
that
20
was
or
there.
21, something like that.
We should probably have had a house tour just to
Come
get
on
an
over.
idea. of-
Absolutely, you totally should.
A field trip. With our cookies.
So I see that they're going to be black panels, flush with a roof like the others, so same company? Is this the same company
Yes,
as
same
before?
installer. Panels have changed since, but it's almost exactly the same thing, shape-wise.
Okay,
The panels are new every 6 months. It's a whole new manufacturer. They're changing them constantly. That market's great.
It is, technology.
These panels are about 15% more efficient each from what I just did a year and a half ago. That's crazy.
Nice, good for you.
wow. I don't have any other questions. I had questions that were none of my business, like what do you use that room for? So I'm stepping outside the box here.
And you're welcome for a tour anytime.
Thank you. We love tours. Okay, do you have any? No?
I came out the front the other day and somebody walking the plane stopped and said, "Which side of the duplex do you live in?" Because it's got the two porches. Both.
Look, don't judge, don't judge. We have a massive house with 2 people.
Right, I know, seriously.
Don't judge.
We use
I'm the same way.
Yeah, that back house is 2,000 square foot. My office,
Crazy,
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's crazy.
Do you have the problem the Morses have trying to find each other? Like which door did you go out and which side of the house are you on? So where is anybody here? And there are just 2 of you here.
Exactly, so we have what is it, Alexa?
we put in the Alexas, and I'm not a fan of the Alexas, but it's the only way to find your spouse.
There are three of you there.
Announce.
Or dinner, because it's like,
yeah.
the kitchen to the front room is 4 rooms away.
Wow.
Look at it, yeah.
Great.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept the application from Dan and Laurie Stead to put additional panels on section 4 of their house. Black, flush with a roof. If not exactly the same, similar to the ones that they have already.
I second.
Thank you. Motion made by Virginia, seconded by Madeline. Is there any more discussion on the application? No? All in favor of approving this application as written, as proposed?
Aye.
Aye. Nobody opposed? Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Passes. Thanks very much. Thank you very much.
I'll keep this for my,
Yes, is that the one I was writing on? Yep, that was fine.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's fine, just that I wrote you that, and that's the original one.
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect, all right, yeah, and that was the one, and that's the one that's signed.
Yes.
Good, perfect.
Before you see you, Lynn, I just want to let you know that Scott Woodmansey from the church may come in as a walk-in.
Okay,
And I told him if he wants something that's permanent, he's going to need an application.
okay,
And we probably couldn't do it right on the spot. But
Okay.
He's get information.
okay, perfect, yeah,
He may or may not come.
okay, that's fine,
Just a heads up.
thank you. The next application is with Lynn Merrill. Lynn is here. Hello. And she is looking to, she has vinyl siding on the building at 153 Main Street on many sides, and she wants to finish the project with, you said the front and one side?
Yes.
Yeah, at 153 Main Street. So, let's see if I can do this. Here it is. Is that? And this same deal, we have 3. Okay, Lynn, go for it.
Hi, I'm Lynn Merrill. I'm the trustee of the Bill Bartlett Jr. Revocable Trust. And we're talking about the building at 153 Main Street. And we have vinyl siding on the back and the north side that were put on many years ago. And then after that, vinyl siding was put on the south side of the 2-story end and the 2 dormers. But I can't keep paint on the rest. We tried to keep the side facing the church natural, and we tried to keep the front, but we can't keep paint on it. Wind just goes right through in the winter, and we need to do something different. So what we'd like to do is finish the vinyl siding. The contractor we hired is the same contractor that did the work at the Lisa Dias house next door to the fire station, and also did the work at the apartment house that we used to own on Church Street. We're not going to do the areas around the front doors because those are still historically accurate, but we'll continue the rest. The actual building itself once had 3 stories on one side, and when my father bought the building in 1964, the entire top of the building shook in the wind and went back and forth, and therefore they took a chainsaw and took the whole top story off and put a new roof on the 2, so it's now 2 stories instead of 3. We actually have the historic pictures of when it was 3. So.
What was the building used for when it was 3 stories, do you know?
It was ye old Kingston Inn.
The inn, the hotel?
Yes.
Wow.
We still have the menus
Wow.
and everything.
Can
In
we
fact,
come for lunch?
well, you'd love it because the most expensive thing on the menu was a lobster roll, and it cost $2.75.
I'll be there for lunch tomorrow.
Nice.
When Dad bought the building, the most exciting thing for us children was the fact that the old frat machines came with it, and they went to our house.
Put it up and that's my thing. So Lynn, I remember when you came for the other vinyl pieces, leaks, wind blowing through, etc. Didn't remember that the 2 dormers are already vinyl
The vinyl.
trim.
I have no idea when Dad did that, but it's done, long done.
Yes, okay. So Maddie and I were just looking at that because we were always paying attention to trim and whatever. So those are already done, and the trim is good.
Well, there isn't any trim around them, it's just vinyl straight up to the window.
But up underneath the roof, under the roof eave and around the edge, so there's, it's very simple, but there is some.
Yeah.
Have you considered cardboard for the front?
Can't afford it. No, just can't afford it. Love to. Love to, can't afford it.
Because that's also another maintenance free.
Lynn and I talked about that on the phone, and I've been reading that hardy board may not be as good for New England weather as, say, remember the woman that did the Gorilla board? That was comparable price, but it was more of a resin base, but still quite a bit more expensive than doing the vinyl.
Right.
And I don't know what kind of insulation that would require as well. Because I know with vinyl, don't they put some sort of insulation
Yeah,
behind
they're
it?
going to at least put the wind. Yeah,
The wind
well,
block.
wait a minute, I've got his proposal. I can tell you exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah.
They're going to wrap the house with 3/8 inch high-performance vented insulation system, and then put the vinyl over that.
So will all of the trim on the corner boards of the house, the skirting on the bottom, and the fascia, the freeze board, those will be left alone, and then just up to the window trim? They won't wrap any of that, they'll leave that?
They're going to wrap that.
They're gonna wrap that?
Yeah, they're going to keep the front door, the two front doors and the stuff around the front doors. And then the corner boards will be done with the vinyl corner boards.
I didn't think we allowed that.
Wrapping?
Wrapping the corner boards?
You did at Church Street.
Some places have had their corner boards wrapped. So you're not going to remove the clapboards?
No,
You're going to leave the clapboards and then apply the vinyl on the clapboards and wrap around the windows and the corner pieces?
yeah.
And up under the eaves?
Some of the clapboards may have to be removed because some of the ones on the south side of the building, the church side, actually stick out. They curl outward. So, yeah. They're in really, the building looks great from the street,
It does.
but the wood is rotting. Some of the windowsills have totally rotted. Yeah, he's neglected it a bit. He's actually gone out, what he tried to do, well, we've hired people to paint it, but now with all the lead stuff, it's almost as expensive to paint as it is to put the vinyl on. And it only lasts, we've only been able to keep paint on for 2 years, and my dad's been going out and trying to paint it himself, but now that he can't, he's 94 and in assisted living, he can't do that anymore, and he fell down the last few times he tried the last couple of years, so it's not the thing for him to do. And I don't have time to paint.
So most of the trim on the house right now looks like it's pretty straight, just straight. There's not an awful lot of architectural specialness. There's a couple of like doubled up fascia boards and stuff. Are they going to match that?
Yeah.
They're not just going to make it, take the
No.
shadow line and make it one?
No, they're going to totally match what's there now.
Okay, all right,
Just the way they did on the apartment house that we had.
okay. And then what about the windowsills? There's a picture of a very bad shaped windowsill.
They're going to fix that, replace it, and then wrap it.
Okay.
The rest of the windowsills seem pretty okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
The rest of the windowsills are in better condition.
Okay.
That one was really the worst.
Okay.
But if you look at the side of it, you can see where the clapboards are now actually coming away from the building. They're in tough shape.
So Lynn, you've been at this forever. So you know that the trim and all those specific features are what make the house a period
Absolutely.
house. And I do know that there are companies now that do a very good job
Yeah.
either replacing or wrapping, as long as it wraps to match what is there. So that's what we're expecting to see.
That's what we're expecting to do.
Okay, so the trim on your house, under the eaves, around the windows, as Susan just said, is rather simple, not as elaborate as some of them, but it still is identifying of the period of the house. So we'd expect that to look just the same. And now to the front door.
Yeah. I'd love to remove that storm door on the left-hand front door, but they don't make them that size anymore.
So you're going to leave the skylights around the light?
Yes.
Not skylights, the lights around the door,
Nothing is happening around that at all.
and the faux pillars on either side there, all the way up to the roof of the porch? What's happening with your columns on the porch?
They're staying exactly as they are, we're not touching them.
As they are? And how about the front of the roof of the porch that comes out?
That's all staying the same, we're gonna have to paint that.
Okay, so that's all staying. So we're only expecting to see vinyl siding on the clapboards that reach up to those,
Up to the trim around the door.
yes,
We are going to vinyl the ceiling,
up under,
up under, yeah.
okay.
Okay. That's not writing, is it?
Oh,
Are there fascias and soffits that you don't receive?
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Are there fascias and soffits?
No,
None?
Do you not have a
yeah, he does.
page to look at?
Oh, still.
Stanley, pass that on down so that they can see and, oh, you looked at it, okay, all right.
And what about the shutters, Lynn? Are those gonna be taken off and replaced, put back on, same ones?
same ones.
Okay, good.
Is this the side of the house near the church?
That is.
door?
No, that is the front door on the right-hand side, the Cape side.
Oh, okay.
So it's just one side that you're doing, this side?
We're doing that side and we're doing the front.
Oh, you are doing it?
Yep.
So what's happening around the Cape side door?
That doesn't have any, we're just gonna replace it the way it is. We're just gonna replace that board at the bottom that's rotting again, and they're gonna wrap around the door.
So they're gonna wrap those 2-pillar type things that the lanterns are affixed to?
On the side, no, on the side of, are you talking the side of the building? Oh, no, on that one.
The
we're doing-
Cape door.
We're not doing anything there. We're not doing any of that trim around that door, is staying all the same.
Okay.
Yeah, the trim around both the porch and that door are staying exactly the same. The only one we're wrapping is the one on the church side, because that's not
Okay.
anything. That was added, I think, in the 50s. It doesn't have anything left.
This is, must be the bottom of the door on the church.
Vinyl siding insulated or is it just vinyl siding?
It's just vinyl
This looks
siding.
like it doesn't have faux columns.
The insulation factor difference wasn't
This board here. Yeah. And
perfect.
here.
Yeah.
All side? All side?
Here.
You familiar with them?
Oh, yeah.
So this board here.
That's the name of the vinyl siding. Yeah.
So this is really pretty.
And again, that's the same siding that was
I need
used
to protect.
at both of the places that we got.
And you also said on the phone, Lynn, that you were going to try to have them do like hardly any seams at all, and the
Yes.
seams that were gonna be there would be
Yep.
hidden by these bushes, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So there should be no seams on the building except for, because they're using the really long sheets of vinyl, so the only seams should be behind the shrubs, where we don't have enough space, so everything else will not have seams. So that'll make it look better, in my view. It'll make it look better.
Although nowadays, most vinyl siding seams are much better than they were a long time ago.
But it's better to have none.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Well, that's not my opinion. I like the looks of a clapboard, a clapboard, a clapboard.
Oh.
Instead of all the way along, but it's okay.
I do too, but with the vinyl where it's the two, I kind of like not seeing them.
So the shutters come off, the windows get
The
trimmed.
windows, I think, are pretty much done now. I think they're already done.
So it appears
When they
the windows
replace
are
the
quite
windows.
new, so nothing's happening around the windows.
Yeah, the windows are all new. Those were done a couple of years ago.
In the existing shutters, are they vinyl or are they wood?
They're vinyl.
You're replacing them with vinyl?
We're gonna use the same ones. They said they're in good enough shape that we don't have to replace them yet. If we replace them, wouldn't it be neat to do wood, but
And on the front of the house, there's a whiteboard between the roof and the house, if you will. That's a little unusual. What, is that a freeze board? Usually that's attached to the house, not the roof. This is weird, it's like it's attached to the roof. Does the roof come down with a freeze board across the front of it?
Yeah, the roof comes down, and there's that one board that comes across the front, and the clapboards go all the way up.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Okay, so that'll be vinyl?
The freeze board?
that'll be wrapped.
Yeah, that strip across the front will, yeah. Hopefully, nobody will be able to tell the difference. If we do it right.
Yeah, in here, Yep. We're drawing all of the pictures.
I mean, my love of the historic district, I just want to keep, I want to do it right. But unfortunately, it'd be great to put hardy board on, but it's cost prohibitive at this time. And we just felt with the rest of the building was fine.
We're gonna see that vertical board between the main house and the cape part.
Yep. Excuse me, yes, not yet, yes.
Picky, right? Well, that's all
No,
the trim,
no.
that's all the trim stuff that makes a difference.
It
in
does,
house.
that's what makes it,
Yes.
it would look silly if it were covered. Oh, that'd be terrible. Oh, that would look silly.
Yeah. I don't have any more questions. I've been talking.
Just speaking personally, and I shared this with Lynn on the phone as well, vinyl siding is not my favorite thing to do, and a lot of historic districts do not allow it, but it is an option for trying to keep our historic district up and looking really nice as best as possible.
And
So it's
affordable.
more affordable.
The idea
yeah.
is that we need to help make it affordable for the people who live in the historic district.
Yep, yep.
Right, as long as we're like keeping trim and we're wrapping trim and we're not sawing off all the windowsills and we're wrapping them and keeping them. We're keeping the detail of the house, even though it's protected.
Yeah.
Yes, not number one preference, but it's a necessity.
Not my number one preference
Right,
either.
right, yeah.
But it's an affordable option.
Right.
So what I don't see here is the information about the company that's doing the work.
Oh. What would you like to know?
Who they are.
Oh, their name is Denmark Exteriors. They're also called My Home Contracting or something like that. And it's the same company that did all the other work. They're in Salem, New Hampshire. And we used them before. And they are not the least expensive by any means, but we believe they do good work. In his notes on the end, he said, build out window trim so siding is not proud of windows, exterior casing. No work on historical door trim, will keep the historical character of the building. Repair a piece of trim on the rear. Oh, that's a piece that fell down.
So that's on your application?
That's not on my application, that's actually on what they told
Okay.
me they were going to do.
So
But I can
Linda,
give you a copy of this if you need
that
it.
would be good to have a copy of that for a couple of reasons. If they don't do what they say they're going to do. You know, we'd talk to you, but you'd talk to them. But the other thing is, when we have companies that do a good job, and people come to us and want to have vinyl siding or some kind of an artificial siding rather than wood, it's nice to know the names of some of those companies.
Yeah.
And we have a couple of them collected who've done a really good job.
Yeah.
And sometimes we actually go and look at the work that companies have done to other houses and say, hey, this looks good. And so that would be good on two fronts.
Sure. Would you like a copy of this, or would you?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, you know,
I'm just wondering if I should take out their pricing.
Yeah,
we don't need
yeah,
to
we
see
don't
their
need to see
pricing.
that,
Just if we knew.
I mean, not that it matters, but I just,
Just, you can redact all of that stuff.
Yes.
I'll
Big
just take the
marker.
page out.
Yeah, that's
Take the
fine.
page.
Want it to-
That's
I'll
fine.
just take a
Right,
page
right,
out.
just so we know who they are, where they are, and what they say they will do. And-
Absolutely.
And
I
then,
think that's the only thing in here that might be something that they might not want me to share.
Yes.
sure,
If you can have this, I've got it on my computer.
great. So that is a good resource for our records. We've been trying to be faithful. You have 2 years to do your project. We've been trying to be faithful to go back and look at people's, when their time is up. Is their project finished? Did they do what they say they were going to do? Does it look like this? So that would help.
Yeah, they're very detailed,
Good,
so.
that's great.
Excellent. So that would be great to have that piece of paper. Nice. Do we have any more questions for Lynn about this project? No?
Sounds like it's time for,
Sounds like it's time.
time for a motion.
Are you wanting to do that?
everybody's looking at me.
Yep.
Lori, Glenn used to do this all the time. He was the motion maker.
He's our motion guy for the select board. We all look at him
Yes.
to do it, so don't look at me. It's not me.
I make a motion to approve the vinyl siding at 153 Main Street, according to the application, which will include, wait a minute now, I've got to get the writing part.
Oh, it's on the back.
Sorry. The south side and front of the building, original trim around the front doors and remaining historic features will remain the same. Vinyl clapboards will be the same height as the original clapboards. Black shutters will be reinstalled when work is done. All trim will be wrapped according to the style. Is that good enough?
I think so. Shutters to be, same shutters used again.
Yes, same shutters replaced.
Yep. Thank you for that motion. Do we have a second? Second. Do you have your thing on? Okay,
I'll second it with caution, simply just because it's vinyl siding.
okay. And it's not your favorite thing in the world either, so,
It's a historic,
okay, yeah.
It's all over the district.
So
It
the
never
motion-
used to be, it used to be forbidden,
I know.
but it isn't anymore.
And we had to start allowing it because it was really sometimes the only affordable option for people, so. The motion has been made and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? No? Okay, thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
Did she
Give
pass?
us that piece of paper that you had.
Yeah, can I bring it over?
I'll meet you.
This. Turn my machine off so I'm not blabbing. I don't see our J Street folks, do you?
No, I don't. So, number 3, the application for number 3, we are going to skip past that, and I'm going to discuss that after we talk with these two gentlemen who have come in. Come on up to the mics. If you're going to speak, push the the button so that we can hear you, and they can hear you on the recording, please. And introduce yourselves. And, Virginia did mention that you might be stopping over, so.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Just leave it on.
Is it on in red? Green? Oh.
And then just leave it.
Got it, okay. So I'd like to keep this informal. I found out, let's start at the beginning.
So first,
Good evening, Scott Woodmansee.
thank you.
I'm a resident of town, and a trustee for the First Congregational Church in Kingston, and my associate, Al Perkins.
I'm not a trustee, but I kind of do legwork for the trustee.
You can sit down too, Scott, if you want to, that's fine. It'll be really informal.
So I'd like this to be informal because I do not have a complete building permit package to submit to you. So this is a heads up on what we're planning on doing. I do have an application filled out with 3 or 4 copies of some pertinent stuff. If you want to take a look at them, I'd be glad.
Sure.
Just, you can pass them around. So there are 2 projects. The first is a shed. And I was under the impression, I didn't sort it, but you can grab one of each, pass them around. I think there's like 4 copies there.
All right.
So there's an existing shed in dilapidated condition on the property, and it is approximately 8 by 10, and we'd like to replace it with a 12 by 14.
Okay,
And the shed would be, it's manufactured off-site. We're already under contract to purchase it, pending your approval. That we weren't sure we needed, because we were at our zoning bylaws have a 168 square foot exclusion, and now I know the Historic District Commission also has a line that you want to oversee all construction. Is that correct? Within your district?
Yes. Yes, you want to. The answer is yes.
I don't, the answer is yes. You'll want to check with Pedro, who is the building inspector.
I did check with Pedro, and I'm still gonna run it by, I'm not trying to do any work behind anybody's back.
Yeah, I know that,
I mean, I
yeah.
do great work, and I'm proud of it, so, come on
The
over
reason
and
I
look.
say that is because I think that he mentioned to me that although Kingston passed the ordinance with the 168 square feet, state of New Hampshire has different square footage, which
Yeah,
I think is less.
state of New Hampshire is restricted to 120 square feet.
Right, so you just need to check with him as far as what the building and permit will look like.
I did check with him, and we're just gonna go ahead and submit the building permit, and it's non-permanent, but with doing the permit, maybe we will make it permanent. I doubt it. It's already ordered with a wood floor.
Okay.
It just sits, we're not disturbing the soil, so we don't have to worry about shoreline protection. Even though it's outside of the 50-foot, it's still within the 250-foot purview that they,
So I'm sorry.
allowed to cover under legislation.
So it will not be on a permanent foundation? Is that what you just said?
The shed will not be on a permanent foundation.
Okay, okay.
So is our question, does he need a permit from us? Is that what we're trying to decide?
What we have asked the residents of Kingston, of Historic District, is to come in for design approval of the design of the shed and the placement on the lot. So that's what, is that not true? Yes. So that's what we are, I think that we would just put it through as a certificate of approval. Yeah.
We appreciate what you guys do for the town. We'll pay the fee or whatever.
Right.
We're good for it. We're not going anywhere. We've been here for
Yes.
a couple 100 years.
Almost 300. So the company
Let
is,
me look at this for a second. I'm sorry to be taking so much time with this, I just,
No, it's
I'm just putting my eyes on it now, so,
This is the back of the church, right?
yep, it's right beside the,
Way in the back,
against the
Besides
beside
water.
the parcel.
Right.
Yes,
that's it, yep,
So the old shed is going away.
yep,
yes.
yep. And,
It's actually beside the parsonage garage.
Okay,
yeah,
With the new
Yes, you can
shed that
see the side
yeah.
of the garage there.
so our building, our property manager has contracted Eastern Shed. He did some research. Eastern Shed is the company that's going to provide it for us,
Okay,
and they'll deliver it. And they can remove the old one, but we would probably do that ourselves.
More, but there's, that's the specs on the shed.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that either.
It's not big
Specs of the
enough.
shed.
We could use a little bit bigger, and it would need the maintenance, and it would be like, well, we put new trim on it and vinyl sided or something, or just get one a little bigger.
Dan, do you want their other shed? I know.
Yeah, we're trying to get
It's
all,
less than 120 square feet, so save on some paperwork.
we need more room for our snow clearing equipment, and, you know, we can get the mower and other stuff, but it's just too tight for
Yeah,
everything.
the
So
specs
Oh,
are,
do you need something else?
yeah, we don't have the specs of the proposed shed.
I know, geez, sitting there.
Is it gonna be white or gray?
white, I believe.
It's gonna be white?
Is
Okay.
that still
So
gray?
it's just gonna be
Yeah.
a white shed replacing the other white shed?
Yep.
Approximately a foot wider all the way around.
White siding, white trim, roof color dual gray.
is the parsonage and the garage dual gray?
Yes. And so is the church, and that's all of the roofing products on the church property are moving towards IKO Cambridge architectural shingles. So the shingles that are on it are gonna blend with it quite well.
Okay. So the new shed will be located in the same place that the old shed is right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Couple of boxes on the site map, you'll see.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
On the site map, you'll see a couple of boxes, one right beside the garage.
Yeah.
And then another one's the second thing we wanted to talk to you about.
This is the second.
Oh, the
thing I
second
want-
thing you want to talk about, okay.
Okay, this is the second.
Okay, so that would be the shed.
Yeah, the dotted lines represent, well, if I lifted it up on the full set.
So the smaller shed and then the bigger outline
Right,
is the bigger
basically, we're
shed.
just going a foot bigger all the way around.
The
Okay.
shed is gonna be a platform for the band.
Ah, okay,
One more question about the shed.
okay.
Shed. Oh, I need to see the specs.
Okay.
Maybe it's all there.
I definitely think you should put skids under that thing and drag it over. Seriously? I love old sheds.
It's cute. It's really cute.
It's just too small.
Yeah. Put some hay in there.
Parsonage have vinyl on it?
The parsonage is vinyl sided, and the garage right next to it, there's a breezeway connecting, that's vinyl sided. The entire church project is vinyl siding. And this will be vinyl siding, so it will look, it'll look better than the parsonage, almost as nice as the church looks. So,
Okay.
I have no problem with the shed.
Okay.
It sits far back, it's replacing a shed. If you were gonna try to put it up next to the front of the road, we might have a problem with that. I think it's.
The location is same as it was, yep, yep, I agree. Yes, yep. What else do you need over there? Do you need the specs too? Okay.
Yeah, so it sits way
have
back
this?
on the, right up against the
Barb, you have this?
back of the property.
Okay.
But we would still require a certificate of approval, that little process, maybe
Yes, so we
not, maybe
still
not
have to-
charge any money for it
Yes.
or something,
I
but,
would make a motion that we waive the fee.
okay, all right. Did you say you have the, certificate, the application?
There's-
You have got the application?
Well, it isn't described, so.
Okay.
But here's the last part of it, that was very, I'm hoarding papers over here.
Alright. Replace existing 8x10 shed with 12x14 shed.
Plus, we have the specifications from,
Yep.
oh, they just went over to Dan. So I think we have all the pieces to that. No windows in your shed?
I don't know, I didn't order the shed, I don't think so. Shutters
Should-
were.
That picture is supposed to represent it.
Would you like me to make a motion on condition that you get the old shed?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk.
That'll be the smoke-filled room after the meeting. You can negotiate that piece. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A little she shed for the back, maybe, for the wife. Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you want to make a motion, I think that we've got everything that we
Yes.
need for this project
Okay, now I
here.
need the size, so I say it correctly.
12 by 14.
So I make a motion that we accept the application from the First Congregational Church at, I'll start again with my machine on. I make a motion that we accept the application from the First Congregational Church at 6 Church Street to replace the existing 8x10 shed that sits beside the parsonage with a 12 by 14 shed that will be made according to the specifications with the plan.
Yep.
And that we waive the fee for this application.
Thank you very much.
Any more discussion? All in favor of this application? Aye. Yes? Motion has been made and seconded. And
what about the motion about waiving the fee?
And,
Discuss that?
and with the fee waived, since it's just for replacement and the position of the shed is the same. I think I might have just amended your motion.
No, I do not believe you amended it. I
Okay.
said the application, the size of the building, replacing the size of the building with waiving the fee. I did say
Okay,
that.
all right.
And I had my green light on, so.
And so we voted and all were in favor. So the motion has passed. Thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
So we will send this to the building inspector, a certificate of approval for the new shed. And send you,
and a
send you a
copy
copy at the church, send a copy to the church itself?
Sure, or
Okay.
my email address is on it, so you can send it to me so I can end up with it.
Okay. Now, you had a second thing to talk about?
Yes, I have the second thing to talk about. I have a couple of pieces of paper here. It is the same plot plan that you've all looked at. If you happen to have noticed the other large gray area, if you didn't, I have one more that we can walk around with. This is the informational part. This is a heads up, and I came here prepared to be totally informal, and I could not. Technology was kicking my butt. I have a photograph right here. I could share it with anybody electronically. Everybody's welcome to play with my phone if you just want to take a look. What the project is a 12 by 20 gazebo pavilion. Choose a term. So the proposed, the pastor of our church had asked for a ground level platform for the band to set up on, because we're not going to be at Kingston Days through no fault of our own. So we're going to do it right in the pine grove behind the church. And they really can't set up their instruments and do everything tripping on the roots and the pine needles. So I've spoken with the building inspector about this, and we can do something, but this is a 12 by 20 pavilion. The phone that was going around with the picture on it was kind of electronic version of trying to paste it into the grove. We are at 325 feet from the road. We're within 20 feet of as far as you would reach with your jurisdiction. But we're planning on putting it all the way at the back, so when the band's not playing there, we're gonna put a picnic table up there and people can sit, and it's like, oh, look out over the lake, whatever. And we had talked about a pavilion like 12, 15 years ago, when everybody was there every weekend doing the cleanups and helping build the new structure. It was just a place to have a barbecue, and it's like, there you go, a couple of picnic tables, so a dozen or more people that show up for a work party. It's like, yeah, it's just a place to go. So that's kind of what we're looking at, and we want to nestle it right down in the pine trees with a green metal roof, or brown metal roof, whatever, just post and beam construction. And the only thing our pastor has asked is frame the floor with pressure treated lumber, and he'd like composite decking. So we're just going to get some dark brown or whatever decking. We really want it to blend into the woods. So anybody driving by, they would not notice it. If they looked for it, they might be able to see it, but you wouldn't notice it for sure. So that project is coming. All the paperwork is underway right now. So that will all be available for you guys next month. Are you meeting next month? Hopefully I'm around. So the project should be submitted within a couple of days, so you'll have plenty of time to review it. The question I had, would you like it submitted electronically too, so you guys can share it?
Just, it's fine if you make 3 copies of it, and it's fine to deliver it.
Okay, and you guys just,
If you want to share some photos and some renderings, then send them to me, I'll give my email address, and I'll.
okay.
Just leave it on.
You're in trouble today, Susan.
Yes, so if you would like to send them electronically to my email address, I will distribute them out.
And your email address is linked on your webpage,
Yeah,
correct?
it's
Okay.
yeah, it is on the webpage. Yeah, my contact information is on the webpage.
So you can expect something in the next week, a few days to a week.
Okay, great.
On
We'll
this
put you on the
project
June
happening
agenda.
Out back in the Pine Grove.
I had a question about the color of the roof.
Yep.
Because it's like a whole campus, would you want to keep would the board want them to keep the color consistent throughout the campus? Or you'd have one green roof in the middle of that, so.
I guess we were thinking about matching the trees, but, you know,
Yeah, we're looking at making this disappear.
Well, it won't
we
disappear in the
don't-
winter, you know?
Yeah,
It'll be
we
like,
don't want it to jump out.
Right.
So it's in a pine grove now, and the view, even if you look across the pond, is all pines.
right.
And it's just like pine, brown posts, green roof, just so it doesn't.
I'm trying to think of how you see it from the
My
street.
experience is that I have not looked at all the different color options for roofs, but all the green roofs I've seen are brilliant green that I don't care for. There may be a subtle sort of a pine bough green, that might be
It's
nice.
emerald green and forest green.
No emerald.
Oh, no, forest green might be nice, emerald, no. Bark brown, tree
Yeah.
bark brown, either
bark
one of
brown.
those,
Yeah.
but not emerald green,
Right, a
please.
brown would be a good option,
Yeah.
actually. Not
Yeah,
the-
not that
No,
green.
not that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I think either way we just want it to, we
So-
don't want it to jump out, we don't want it to be a focal point.
yeah,
There's a beautiful view of the pond,
yep.
and that's
it's
what we wanted to maintain.
just to look
We really want this to kind of,
It's a floor and a little roof is what it amounts to.
Right,
yeah, a little floor,
yeah.
4 or 6 posts, and a roof.
Okay, so when you apply, when you put the application in for that project, you'll put the pitch of the roof and the, you know, all the.
Yes, I
all
will.
the renderings
There's a
that we.
trustees meeting this Thursday,
Okay.
so we can narrow down that design a little
Yep.
bit. And as soon as that gets done, then I can do a set of drawings.
Okay,
And, yeah, we'll We'll do something nice. If it's gonna be shingled, then we'll go with the gray.
Okay.
The only reason why I'm even bringing that up in this informal setting is, I prefer not to do a metal roof, a metal hip roof.
Okay. Metal hip.
But if I do a hip roof, it makes that whole structure a lot smaller. It really makes it look smaller.
The metal roof might be helpful as far as if it's not a very high pitched, like, you might get a lot of pine needles built up and stuff. That's kind of a pain to.
Shed the pine needles in.
Yeah. So the metal roof might be good in some ways, but
Yeah.
something for you to talk about.
Just keep that color toned down.
It'll blow off, and I'm not worried about snow load or anything. I built to.
Yeah.
Good.
So I have a question about concentric circles back from the lake. I've lost track of what you must get permission for at how many feet doing things for EPA back from the lake.
Yes,
So
this-
are you not in any jeopardy there in the Pine Grove?
There is the Shoreline Protection Act, and the commission that oversees that, which is the DES, has a separate division or whatever for shoreline protection. So they have jurisdiction over 250 feet from the mean high water mark. This being a accessory structure, we're not building a permanent building or anything. And I'm gonna have minimal impact, so we're not within the dock region, which is the most stringent, when you get
Yes.
closer than 50 feet.
Yes.
We're gonna be more than 50 feet from the mean high level of Greenwood Pond.
Yes.
And we're not
And
cutting any trees or.
We're not doing that to avoid conflict with,
There's a big open space, it's just gonna, there won't be any trees moved or cut or anything like that.
so we're not doing that to avoid conflict with DES. That's where the grade starts to drop off. You can look at the topo map and you can see it's like right behind it, that's where it starts to go down, and it's like, yeah, I don't wanna have to put big railings all around this. If I keep it within 2 feet of the ground, I don't need to put railings on.
Sure.
So, I don't want this to be an elaborate structure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's, you know what, that's what I thought, but I just thought I'd ask the question.
Oh, good.
With my light on.
So DES does have a provision that they can, if I can find a certified applicant, somebody who fills out the forms
Okay.
and submit it, they're 10 days. On the outside, it's 14 days, and I can send them a letter, and if they don't respond in 5 days, then I can go ahead and do whatever I want, because I just assume that it's approved. If nobody jumps yelling and screaming, kicking their feet, then it's like, oh, well, then go ahead and build it.
Okay.
Good.
So, but I will deal with all of that
Okay.
and make sure that we don't want any aggravations. I mean, we protect the water too. We have baptisms in the lake.
Yeah.
It's like, don't pollute it.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so that's good. So I'll expect to get that from you, and I'll put you on the June agenda. Okay? Great. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Work that you gave me the last one for, the roof overhang on the front. Notice I put the beam, I put the molding up that you wanted all the way around, inside and outside, and a funny story, just about to put it up. It was all built in my shop. I brought it over to put it on the front of the building, and somebody stopped by and was like, can you put like turn posts or something? And I was like, sure I can, not a problem. It's like $20 difference. And then I guess the same day, about 8 people went in the office, and I said, I thought they were gonna be square posts. It's like, okay, we can change that. So, better.
So it was quite a remarkable project to repair the steeple inside and out.
Yeah.
And thank you. It was a wonderful project to repair that steeple inside and out because it was fragile. And those of us who belong to that church know that the weather vane had been taken down in case it would fall down and crash because the steeple was so fragile. And so Scott and his wife refurbished the weather vane and re-gilded it, did you?
Yes,
And it was,
24 karat gold.
it was corroded and it was rustic and but it was a beautiful shape. And when all was said and done, and a new roof on the steeple, and new sides on the steeple, and then new patches so that it wouldn't leak down into the church, and all of that work was done, and they put the weather vane on the top. Is just remarkable refurbishing and replacing of the way the church looked before, and it really looks wonderful. So congratulations to you with all the work that you did.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you, but I didn't do it.
It
to
looks
pat on the
wonderful.
back.
Looks wonderful. Okay,
Yep.
take this.
Yes, that's the church one.
Yeah, I'm getting ready for that.
Thank you, gentlemen. So here's the story with, and I think I can do this. I have not had a demolition application. Here's the story with 1 Chase Street. 1 Chase Street,
The dentist.
the dentist office. It came to the building inspector's attention that the roof was being replaced. So he stopped, and they had not applied for any permit. So he put a cease and desist on it so that they could apply for a building permit and also come and talk with the Historic District Commission. No. So so if you're replacing your roof, first of all, you do need to get a building permit because, you just have to. And if you are a property owner in the historic district, you do need to come and at least contact the chair or the vice chair and say, I'm replacing my roof. The same thing with the one I talked with at Farm Road. It's in writing. I'm replacing it in kind. I'm not making any changes, blah, blah, blah. So there was no permitting applied for. So he put a cease and desist on it. Now, I was in Scotland, so I got a panicky call from Pedro, long distance, and he told me that they had removed both of the chimneys, which you would need a demo permit for if you were taking 2 chimneys off of a roof in the historic district. I found out last week from Pedro that they were decorative chimneys, false chimneys. They weren't even made out of brick. They were made out of either metal or plywood and set on top of the roof with a brick veneer. And he has pictures that he was supposed to send me of these 2 chimneys on the ground, and you can see them, that they're just a box with the cutouts like this. Very interesting. So and I asked Pedro to come tonight to the meeting, and he was supposed to send me pictures of these 2 chimneys that I found out were false chimneys that were done in the 70s. One was set, they didn't even match each other. One was set on top. And then one was, it looked like it was inset a little bit into the roof, but there was no flashing around it. So it looks like maybe they had taken out the old chimney, this is back in the 70s, and then just stuck this thing in, but they hadn't flashed around it, so there was a lot of water damage, a lot of leaking from that one that was set down, and then the other one was just like placed on top of the roof. So that puts me in the situation where I don't even know if they need a demo permit to take these 2 fake chimneys off.
Functioning chimneys on?
No, they absolutely weren't. They looked like 2
Is there currently
boxes.
functioning chimneys on?
Excuse me?
What?
Is there currently functioning?
No.
There's nothing up there.
Nothing.
No.
It's empty.
Because they took off these fake chimneys and just roofed the roof.
Yes.
So
Just
they
the
must have
ridge
come
line.
before someone in the 70s and said, we want to do this, and they said no, and so they gave faux ones since they weren't using
We
them.
don't even know. I mean, the
Yeah.
historic district was established, in 1973? So Pedro said they were very, very old fake chimneys. And that's what I found out when I met with him last week. I know. And I looked at the pictures of the like 1983 survey that's online, and those two chimneys, yeah.
How did Santa Claus get in then?
Yeah, those are, that's a box with the very thin brick veneer stuck to it.
Which looks very real.
Well, it fooled everybody, didn't it?
It fooled everybody. And so when I found out they were fake chimneys, I was like, do we make them replace the false chimneys, or, you know? So that was, it's a strange situation. Yeah, I was like, yeah, they were fake. And there's pictures of them laying on their side, and you can see daylight through them. They were
I
boxes.
can't wait to see those.
Yeah.
Pedro has to send those pictures.
Yeah, so we can tape.
Yeah, that's from the 90s. That's not the picture she's talking about, but that's what it is.
Yeah, they were not good, so, anyway, so I haven't had any,
That's the house, and that's a picture from the 90s, while they were up there. It's like, you can't tell.
I mean, so now and now they have a nice new roof, and there's no chimney stacks, real or otherwise.
so the one on the left is the one that had been set down in. Pedro has pictures of the holes, like with the roof, with them off in the hole there. Yeah,
So you could have fooled me because
Yeah.
that style house,
yes,
the center entry colonial,
yeah,
traditionally had 2 chimneys.
Yeah.
Sometimes a third if there was an L out towards the back. And so perhaps that was all sealed off. I wonder how they vent their furnace, what kind of heat they have. Must be some other
I don't know.
way that a furnace is vented. So in our house, the oldest chimney with 2 flues is on, if you look at my house, it's on the right. On the left, the fireplaces were taken out so that the furnace could be vented. So when we got there, the brickwork from the roof all the way to the basement was there, but the fireplaces were gone just so they could vent the furnace. So it's remarkable that chimneys were removed. Usually they vented the furnace through the old chimney and just blocked off the fireplaces.
Right.
And as long as I can remember, coming here in '68, they also had chimneys.
I actually have an appointment there on Thursday, so when I go over there, I'm gonna sneak. Go, where is they could be venting out the side of the house. You don't know where they're venting. Yeah.
So one had been painted.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's probably in the back, and you don't notice it. Yeah. Yeah. But
So the dilemma that we have is, first of all, we've had no contact. I've had no contact with the homeowners. He's dealing with them. And so they've had no, and I don't even know what we would require. This is such a strange situation. So,
Well, I think we just need to tell them, you need to come before us for the future, because if that was something like they ripped the front vestibule off the door,
right.
we'd be saying, put that back, and that's very costly, so they should definitely get in the habit of checking with you first.
Well, I agree with you.
So they need an information letter about the requirements of functioning
gonna
within
send one
historic
tonight.
district. Yes, we will. So maybe that's something that you and Pedro can do together, without any action, if you will. I don't see any action.
That's what I was wondering about too. I don't see any action as well. I can't see us making them replace 2 fake chimneys. You know, I just think that would be ludicrous to make them go through that expense.
Well, honestly,
Literally, Pedro was like, with the one on the right, he was like, I don't even know how it stayed up there.
yeah, I don't
You know.
and especially the windstorms we had.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have a chimney that used to be part of the furnace, but then we put an addition on and we moved the furnace to a new chimney. So that chimney's kind of deteriorating, and we were like, well, maybe we'll take that down.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, if it's gonna fall in, I don't know, would you have to rebuild it?
Well, if it had been had been two true chimneys and they took them out, you know, that would be a different situation, I think. I mean, to demolish two, even if they weren't functioning chimneys, you know, to demolish two chimneys.
Well, it's changing the profile of the home. I don't think
Absolutely, changing the historical look of the home. So I think we're just gonna, I'm just gonna say this is pending, but if anyone has any insight, you know,
So
about this.
if the change was made before the Historic District Commission was even commissioned,
Right.
it's sort of out of our hands.
Yeah.
But certainly if someone came now with a request to do that, it would change the
It
profile.
would, because I think that we could say, no, you need to preserve the look of the house.
So if they came before it and said, this is what I'm gonna do, and they're fake, am I supposed to keep these fake chimneys up here? Because, like, we didn't know, we were all fooled.
Yeah.
So what would we do? We can't, I mean, I can't,
I don't think there's any historical significance to them, that's the thing.
well,
They had to have been.
they had to have been at some
It
point,
had to have been, and that's what they did to preserve it.
to recreate that look.
That's
But it
why,
was a
otherwise,
retrofit from
why
the
would you
60s
do
or
that?
70s, it's not like,
Seriously.
Yeah.
it's not natural to the home.
But no, the house is not, the house, how old is the
No,
house?
the house, I think, is an old house.
It is an old house.
And I think that there was evidence that one chimney had been taken.
Right,
The original chimney had been taken
Exactly.
out, and that's where that square was, where
Yep.
the fake one was inset. The one on the chimney on the left.
So they probably tried to make it look like it did and fix the damage without the cost. So I guess, but that does beg the question, if some weird thing comes up and we find out it's a fake thing and they want to take it off, are we gonna allow them to do that or keep a fake thing? Or we can't really force them to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to put up
A real
two brick fake, well, and, but they're fake, they're not used, they're not usable, they're not going into the house.
Right.
So,
They're
you
decorative.
know, that's just
They're just decorative,
Yeah.
is what they are.
Right,
Yeah.
right, so it's just, it's an interesting dilemma.
It was a very interesting dilemma, because for the 2 weeks that I was away in conversation with Pedro, he never mentioned the fact that they were fake chimneys. And then I was like, you know, no, he never did.
Just in the boy.
And I was like, you know, now I'm thinking, well, we're gonna have to tell them you need to rebuild those chimneys, you know?
Right, feeling
And
like a
then
bad person.
And he told me last week, you know, and then he told me last week, he
Because
showed me the
that's,
pictures, and I
you
was
know
like,
what that will cost.
oh, yeah.
But what enforcement do we have to force them to rebuild those chimneys? How can we force them to spend that money to rebuild those chimneys?
I don't think
To
they
put
can.
their
I think
fake
they probably
chim-
did it before we were organized.
No, I'm
And
not
she's
talking about that.
She's saying if they came now and said, we want to take these chimneys down,
Or,
what would we do?
no, if they just did it,
Yeah.
if they just did what they did and we
And they
found
were
out they
real
were
chimneys,
real,
yeah.
how can, what mechanism do we have in place to force them to spend that money to rebuild them?
Well, what Pedro did
rebuild the
was
code.
he's making them put a bond on the project. So he had a cease and desist. He said, you can put the shingles on the roof because rain is coming, but the garage isn't done yet. I hope this is okay to talk about. And then put a bond and said, you know, pending what the HDC says. So there was a bond that was,
That's a slippery
insisted
slope,
on a
it really
bond.
is. I mean, how many barns around here have fake doors on them just because
Right.
they make, back in the day, they used to make things proportional by just putting a fake door, a fake window there, just so it looked
yeah.
balanced.
Right.
Yeah,
How many structures are like that in town? And if they remove it, then
yeah.
This
So,
is
I
a
mean, it
slippery slope.
definitely, you know, when I was under the impression that they were true chimneys, and I went by and looked and I was like, ooh, that doesn't look good, you know, because it looks weird with a building like that, with such a long ridge line,
We
you
just
know,
went by and
nothing to
said it
break
looked
it up.
weird, yeah.
Yeah, but, so I don't know what we would, what as a board we would be able to demand or should demand, or, you know.
Well, they were there. They removed them without permission. My guess is that we would be able to say, you need to put those fake chimneys back.
We should
They
be able to.
removed a feature on the house. Whether the door went somewhere or not, that doesn't mean I think we want to do that, but they removed a feature of the house. I believe, my guess is somebody said, whoa, we're putting in a furnace, we're not gonna pay to have the chimneys there, but let's put the chimneys up to look like they always were, and put some fake chimneys up there, because that's the way the style of the house is.
Yeah.
But I think it is a little ridiculous to ask them to put fake chimneys back on their house.
Well, from an engineering standpoint, though, to do that, you know, you would have to have a design so it withstands snow load.
Sure,
Right.
yeah,
I mean, it's not gonna be a cheap feat
right.
for them to
And
do.
we-
That's just running through my head on the fake chimney. How'd they keep that up there so long?
I don't know.
They were good fake chimneys.
Right? They really built good stuff in the 70s.
But we were just talking to Lynn about putting artificial siding on a house to make it affordable to stay in the historic district. So do we say you have to put really good fake chimneys back up there for a huge amount of money? Just getting someone up on the roof these days is expensive. Unless the board was really saying, that's what a colonial house like that used to look like, we need to put them back. I think we could make a mess out of it, and since they do it, we could get a picture of the house before those were, what they looked like many years ago, before the 70s. I think that would be very bad PR for us.
Yeah.
How many barns in the historic district that don't have cupolas on them?
Right.
Yep.
Years ago,
Yep.
we can't go back and make
I
everybody.
agree. So I'm not asking to do that.
Yeah.
But I think if we were really picky and we wanted to force it, we might be able to do that. But I don't think that's a wise move for us strategically as a historic district.
So we don't have to make any agreement on this because there's no application, there's been no communication. This is just a topic of discussion right now, okay? And I'll keep you posted. All right?
May I ask, does
Yes.
the current owner know they were fake? Has this been the current owner right along?
No, it's been, they changed hands a few years ago, right?
2 years,
So he
yeah.
might not know, she might not know they were fake.
I would think with a home inspection, they would have
Right.
known that those were false chimneys.
God, I hope
Also
so.
inspections
Yeah,
on the roof
yeah.
anymore, though.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you even had a home inspection, when houses were
true.
flying off the
It's true.
market.
Just a picture in the home inspector right now. And the chimney.
You know those cardboard ones you had in your living room, like the fake fireplaces?
Right.
That picture that, but
Wait
on the
till you
roof.
see the
Sure, I
pictures
built
that
one
I
or two
send
for a
if he
school
gives them to
project for the
me.
kids.
So, all right, so I'm gonna table that discussion, but I thought that was a very interesting twist for this past couple of weeks. I have not. Pedro did give me a heads up, but he said that you had not passed in your, I think I spoke with him last Thursday. I was here last
It
Thursday.
came to me,
It came to you?
yeah, so I assumed it came to you,
No, it did not. I'm sorry.
came to me.
And did you, it's a full application, complete application or not?
Yeah,
I didn't get it,
I
I'm
didn't-
sorry, and it was not in my box, so. Was
I
it
didn't-
sent electronically?
yeah, I
Oh.
didn't respond because I didn't even pay attention whether it was.
No, I
maybe
haven't
was
seen
on
it.
as well.
He told me that you were, he told me, no, he did tell me that you were planning to put he called it a run-in, right, which is probably similar to what is it just like a shed? Three-sided shed. Okay. Do you have all the plans and everything all set up, and you have everything? Yeah. The application is done?
I have drawings that I gave to Pedro.
I was here Thursday and there was nothing. So he gave me a heads up, but he said he didn't have anything. So,
If we postpone doing that until next week, is that a hardship, next month, is that a hardship?
No, that's fine.
Is that a hardship
It's
for you?
okay.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
so that came electronically to you?
Yes, I saw that it's movable,
Oh,
right? It's movable, it's open on.
I have it on.
Do I need, I should.
No, I'm sorry, it has not come to me at all, so, okay.
It's open on three sides, it's movable, et cetera, and you call it a run-in.
A run-in, okay. So so you filled out the application, 3 copies of it, paper, you put it in, you brought it in? All right, I'll chase it down. And, okay, so I'll put you on the June agenda as well.
You need to redo your plan so you can fit your new shed in with your running.
And so it's gonna be movable, so you don't have to really tell us where it's gonna be located? Is that true?
So on the plan of the property, I
Okay.
put roughly where the pasture is. And I just put on there that it's gonna be within the pasture.
Okay,
So
all
I'll
right,
go with the tractor, you know, as far as.
okay,
You wanna burn a pasture out with the
Yes.
cattle, so.
yeah. Okay, yes, I'm sorry, I don't have it, but didn't get to me, so, okay, but he did give me a heads up, that was all. All right, shall we keep moving on?
Can I make a
Yes.
suggestion?
Yes,
It's 8:35 already. We have a lot of work to do.
yes.
Can we postpone the revisions of the application and discussing the fee schedule till next month and get to work on our work project?
That's perfectly all right with me, is that okay with you? You're the one that's been working on it, yes?
That's fine.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I think I do want to have a little bit of a discussion, though.
Okay.
Because I feel like, and it kind of bleeds into this, a lot of this, your application's probably a really good point, right? I'm seeing this from a user perspective, I'm seeing it from a select board member, I'm seeing it from a lot of different angles, and the process needs to be fixed.
Absolutely.
And I'm not talking about this piece of paper, I'm talking about from when a resident goes downstairs and they're directed to go to the website and download an application. That shouldn't happen, right? It's not user-friendly.
Yeah.
I know the letter is informing people, but there's a lot of residents that don't, what do you mean I have to go to the historic district? I don't understand that I need to do that. So there's a lot of pieces in the process that really need fine tuning. And then if somebody turns in an application, where does it go? I was directed to put it in Susan's box.
So the problem is that is not actually true, because what has to happen is that it has to go to Glenn Greenwood first.
Well, mine was a little different because it had already been approved, because the process just got done out of order.
Yeah.
But yes, it has to go to Glenn Greenwood first.
So what happens is when I get them out of my box and then I bring them home and I go, oh, Glenn hasn't seen these yet, then I have to bring them back and make sure that Glenn approves them. It is a terrible situation.
Well, and that's what happened with me. I brought mine downstairs because, oh, well, you just need to go right to the historic district with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said, but don't we need to find out if I need a permit to do this? And he goes, well, it's under so many square feet, you don't need a permit. I says, well, does Glenn need to see this? And he goes, I'll just give it to the historic district commission. I'm like,
But part of the existing process is that, because you guys did that last year, where they all need to go to Glenn Greenwood first to make sure that they're within use.
Yes.
And then he hands them to Susan or Virginia, right?
But you know
That's
what?
the existing process.
It doesn't make sense, because the only time he needs to see it is if it's a change of use, and everything else doesn't need to go to him.
But
It's almost
for
like it should go to you
consistent-
first.
but for
And you push
consistency,
it
we're
on,
doing
like,
it
this
that
is
way.
another thing.
Yeah.
But why waste his time with every application? He doesn't need to see almost any of
And
them.
that's what we've been talking about,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, if it
I mean,
goes to you and you say, oh, it's a change of use, here, Glenn.
Yeah.
And then it's like, why waste his time to go to
Right.
Glenn? It's just silly.
And waste Glenn's time, because he's only there 2
Right,
days a week
and
anyway.
he's got other stuff to do.
He's got other
And
stuff.
he
And
insists
it's-
it doesn't take much time at all.
I know, but still,
But
you know,
still.
every little thing.
Right, I mean, for you to look at it first and then, hey, Glenn, can you get eyes on this? Okay.
Yeah.
And anyway, I mean, we really kind of
Oh,
need
we have to do
to
something.
flow
Yeah,
chart and
right.
figure this out. And I've spoken with Tori, because, you know, that's out of her purview, completely out of her purview. But I said, and with them going, the whole permitting process is going online, right? That's gonna be within a couple months. So all of those paper things downstairs are gonna go away. But that doesn't impact this. There's still gonna be paper. And I said, Tori, we can't have residents go to the website and what if they don't have a printer at home?
Yeah.
We
It's
cannot,
discriminatory, you really.
yeah, we cannot do that. I said, so you need to have the applications here. But she says, I can't answer the questions. I said, well, then we'll make sure that it's on the front page, you know, talk to whatever, so that you're just handing them an application.
Yeah.
And then after that, we really just need to make it user-friendly, more efficient, and that it makes sense,
And it
right?
definitely needs a flow chart,
Yeah,
so that it can check, it can check.
exactly,
Yeah.
with what makes sense,
Yeah.
right?
So you saying there should be a flow chart first, immediately available to the applicant, so they can see.
And sort of to what people in the office too.
And the people in the office. Everybody needs to understand whatever we decide the process to be, whatever it makes sense, right? Because we have to think about all the customers. We're the customer, Pedro's the customer, Glenn Greenwood is, but most of all, it's the resident, right? Because like you said, we don't want to make this so onerous that they're like, I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it.
Right.
So before this page, name, rank, and serial number, and what it is you're gonna do, you're saying paper available in the office if you don't have a printer, or it's online. First, there's a flow chart page here. Okay, you live in the historic district. You want to make some changes on your property. This is what you need to do. Is that what you're
Something like
suggesting,
that,
Lori?
right, because I had taken that application and
Yeah.
kind of divided it up, but
Yes, you
yes,
did.
I mean, it needs to be very clear up front for the resident on what they need to do, right? And it's just, you know, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because we do have other stuff to do, but it's just everything I hear from people doing stuff in the historic district, I didn't know. Well, how do you know? I mean, when we moved in, we're the type of people where we research and we knew, and then it still was clunky.
Yeah, it is.
Even my second time, it was clunky. So,
And you're right, Tori should not have to be down there answering questions
No.
on how to fill it out an application, so contact information needs to be right there as well.
Exactly, right.
So,
Not that will stop people from asking
But she
her a
doesn't have to
question, but.
pre-print stuff. She could just say, which one do you need? Here it is if you need me to print it. She shouldn't have to stockpile stuff, you know, like.
Yeah, but
print it as an.
But they have that little cubby thing of all those forms that will go
Okay.
away once
Yeah.
cloud permitting goes online.
yeah.
So, anyway. that's
So what
enough
I
of that.
just handed out was quite a few things that Lori had emailed to me, that's why I was late. And these were going to pertain to the discussion, but we can totally kick the can down the road till next month, so just hold on to the ones. Yeah. And Susan, you can.
I had started this like last September, so.
Been working on this for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah.
I think it's important to do. I can't imagine, you know what? I've been working on this application for years and tweaking it,
Yeah.
and so it's obvious to me.
Yeah.
So I can't see what people would have to ask Tori questions about.
Oh, Virginia, you'd be surprised.
I would be surprised.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying, you know, it's clear to me because I helped make it.
Yep.
But people don't understand detailed explanation, bold, in writing, underlined. What is not to understand?
But what kind of explanation? What do you?
Yeah, I gave her,
But
I
it
gave her a copy
says,
of the,
it says, the proposed work to be done,
probably one for
type
me.
of construction, materials to be used, blah, blah.
So, you've got one. I had already printed mine out, so.
No, I understand, Virginia, but writing policy is something that I do. So it's easy for me to look at it from a,
She lives for this.
I totally do.
Well, you know what, I am all as easy, comfortable, and obvious for the applicant
Yep.
as possible.
Yep, and that should be our focus,
And
and
so-
make it efficient for everybody involved.
yep.
All right, we're up to
right.
that, we're done.
Good. All right, so we are going to talk about this next month, and maybe this.
And Dan's run-in.
Yes, I have that on the agenda for next month already. Before we adjourn, I would like to just say that we are going to be processing the letters to the Historic District property owners in HD 1 and 2, and that I wanted to publicly acknowledge the work that Madeline and Virginia did on this, just yeoman's work, and Sarah Oppenheimer again for the lovely drawings. And thank you for the outstanding efforts in producing this letter. I appreciate it very much. One other thing is that Sarah Bufano will be going to school in the fall, so we're going to be losing our recording secretary. She's excellent. So now we have to start the process again of trying to find somebody to fill that position, okay? And I will talk to Susan Ayer about starting that up again, because Sarah also works for the Heritage Commission as well. She does a great job for the Heritage Commission.
So for hiring young people, do they have to be at least 16 years old?
I would think so, yes. 15 or 16. I don't know what the town of Kingston's age limit is. Probably 16. Yeah. Yeah. And it was great having a high school student do it. She did an excellent job, and she was great to work with. So she has been, yep. So we'll have her through the summer. She's not certain about move-in date in August, so she may or may not be at the August meeting, but we will have her for a couple more months. So thank you, Sarah. If that's all, I'd like to adjourn the meeting so that we can get to our project. Is that okay with everyone? Okay. So at 8:42, we are adjourned.